glories to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari 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 Jaya Gopinath Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopinath Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Yashodanandan Brajadanandan Yashodanandan Brajadanandan Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Shri Shri Radha Madhava Bhagavan Ki Gaura Premanandi Jai Om Vishnupada Swami Chaturvajacharya Ashtutar Sutta Shrimad ISKCON Pratishta Vibhiti Samastapakacharya Vaishnava Saramana Gaura Priyajana Krishna Prema Bhakti Datta Patita Pavana Divine Grace Abhajanana Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Shri Prabhupada Ji Ki Jai Shri Guru Guru Varga Pati Tudhar Ki Jai श्री रूप सनातन भक्त रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भक्तदास गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। नानाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर जी की जय। आनंद पुरी वैष्णव की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद। श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासरि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। जय परम दयाल श्री नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय। प्रेम नाम संकीर्तने की जनक प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम श्री सच्चिदानंद श्रीमान गौर चैतन्य महाप्रभु गौर हरि महावरनाय अवतार की जय। गोलोकेर प्रमधान हरिनाम संकीर्तन जगत जगत प्रसाद की जय। गृहनिदान ट्रांसलेंटल भक्ति श्री विष्णु सेवा की जय। ग्रंथ राज श्रीमद् भागवतम महापुराण की जय। समवेत भक्तवृंद की जय। निताय गौर हरि प्रमानंद हरि हरि बोल। Our glorious dear assembled devotees, our glorious to the assembled devotees, our glorious to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. Our glories to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Narayana namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudire vede ramayane chaiva purane bharate tata adiyante tvamavicha hari sarvatra giyate mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate yatkripatamaham bande Shri Guru dinataram Paramanandamadava Paramanandaya Madhava Padungaruchi Mokaranda Sivakaranda Panakari Anande Bolo Hari 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 Praname Bandavela Parikarive Chakadola Sichakadolam Kapayane Manamo Nirantari Rahu Ha Krishna Bali Jiva Jao Ha Krishna Bali Jao Jiva Motiu Dhara Radha Dava Motiu Dhara Radha Dava Motiu Dhara Radha Dava Dharma Pujita Pretavutro Paramanirma Swaram Satam Vedyam Vastavam Atra Vasusivadam Tapotra Yamunana Shumara Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kimva Paririshvara Sadhyo Rudra Virudyatitra Kritivi Shushu Vistatyana Nigama Kalpatarodu Garitam Phalam Sukamkhar Mritadvara Sangitam Pivata Bhagavatam Rasamayam Uruhu Rasika Bhuviva Bhuko Anarthopasamam Satcha Bhakti Yogam Adokyaje Lokasya Dhanatu Vidam Sakri Savita Sangitam Yasam Vesmuryamanayam Krishna Parama Purushe Bhakti Purpadhyate Punsasokamoho Vayapava Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Jadvashnamanam Priyam Yasmin Parangam Samekamalam Jnanam Paramagiyate Tatro Jnana Viraga Vaiti Saitam Naskarmyama Vishtam Tatsuvan Supatan Vicharano Paro Bhaktya Vimuche Naro Arthayam Brahmasutranam Bharatarto Vinirnayo Gayatri Vasyarupaso Vedartho Parigorito Sarva Viditi Asanam Saram Saram Samadrutam Sarva Vidanto Saram Shrimad Bhagavatam Ishati Tadrasamrita Truptasya Nanyatrasya Tralikvachit Krishna Bhakti Rasa Swarum Shri Bhagavata Tate Veda Shasraite Paramamata Chari Veda Upanishade Jataki Chubha Tar Artha Layam Vyasa Korira Sanjayam Jai Sutre Jai Guru Vishaya Vachana Bhagavata Seru Shlokene Vandanam Jivero Nistaro Lagi Sutra Kaila Vyasa Mayavadi Vasyasmile Ay Sarvanasham Jao Bhagavata Pada Vaishnavera Stane Ekanta Ashrayakara Chaitanya Charane Bhagavata Jenamane Seyavana Sama Kashasta Achidane Jane Prabhu Yama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Janmadhyasya yatam vayavitaratascha swadhya swaratene brahma hridaye adhikavaye murjanti jasuraya tejo varimridam jata vinimajo jatra krisagumusya dhamna svena sada nirastakuhakam satyam paramde mahi. O my Lord Shri Krishna, Son of Vasudeva, O pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. I meditate upon Lord Shri Krishna because he is the absolute truth and the primeval cause of all causes of the creation, sustenance, and destruction of the manifested universes. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations, and he is independent because there is no other cause beyond him. It is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge unto the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being. By him, even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion, as one is bewildered by the illusory representations of water in the fire or lens from the water. Only because of him do the material universes, temporarily manifested by the reactions of the three modes of nature, appear factual, although they are unreal. I therefore meditate upon him, Lord Shri Krishna, who is eternally existent in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from the illusory representations in the material world. I meditate upon him, for he is the absolute truth. Shri Krishna Param Purusha Bhagavan ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapuran ki jai. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. It's our pleasure to have you, to have the association during the Kirtan and Krishna Katha, especially class on Srimad Bhagavatam that we hold every day in the morning. This is our major principle. Like Prabhupada says, wherever we have a center, we devotees, we must hold a Bhagavatam class in the morning and Bhagavad Gita class every evening. In fact, we should hear Bhagavatam every day. Just like we chant the rounds Hare Krishna mantra every day. They go side by side. Because Srimad Bhagavatam is known as Nama Purana. Unless we hear from Bhagavatam, unless we learn from Bhagavatam, we can never be inspired as much as possible to chant the holy name of the Lord. Yoga Dharma is now Sankirtan. We need association of Bhagavatam, association of the devotees in order to execute this very inspiringly and also enthusiastically. So, thank you so much for joining this class. It's always encouraging to have association with devotees. And of course, by the mercy of the devotees, we may be able to speak on the Krishna Katha, because it's not a mundane topic, it's transcendental topic. So the grace of the Lord is much needed, and the devotees are the mercy incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna Kripa Srimurti, the divine manifestation of Krishna's mercy. And especially in this Kali Yuga, his Sankirtan is being promoted, to the highest level. Sankirtan, the process of glorifying the Supreme Personality of Godhead in association with the devotees, congregational glorification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we continue to read from 3rd Canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 28th chapter, Kapila's instructions on devotional service, and today text 14. Let's go through word meaning before we read the verse. We sing the verse. Lasat, shining, Pankaja, of a lotus, Kinjaka, filaments. Yeah, filaments. I don't know what it is. Pita, yellow. Koshya, silk cloth. Vashasan, whose garment? Whose garment? Srivatsa, excuse me, bearing the mark of Srivatsa. Srivatsa. Vakyasam, breast. Brajat, brilliant. Kostuba, Jen. Amukta, put on. Kandaram, his neck. Lasa pankaja kinjaka, Lasa pankaja kinjaka, Pita kusheya vasasam, Pita kusheya vasasam, Shivatsa vakyasam rajat, Shivatsa vakyasam rajat, Kostuba mukta bandaram, no kandaram, Kostuba mukta kandaram, Lasa pankaja kinjaka, Lasa pankaja kinjaka, Pita kusheya vasasam, Pita kusheya vasasam, Sidvasa vakyasam rajat, Vapacham rajat, Kostuba mukta bandaram, kandaram, Lasa pankaja kinjaka, Lasa pankaja kinjaka, Pita kusheya vasasam, Pita kusheya vasasam, Sidvasa vakyasam rajat, Sidvasa vakyasam rajat, Kostuba mukta kandaram, Kostuba mukta kandaram. Translation by His Divine Grace is C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. His loins are covered by a shiny cloth, yellowish like the filaments of a lotus. On his breast he bears the mark of Srivatsa, a curl of white hair. The brilliant Kaustuba gem is suspended from his neck. This can we repeat. His loins are covered by a shiny cloth.
His loins are covered by a shiny cloth.
Loins, covered by a shiny cloth, yellowish like the filaments of lotus.
Yellowish like the filament of
Lotus. On his breast, he bears the mark of Srivatsa.
On his breast he wears the mark of Shiva.
He bears. On his breast, he bears the mark of Srivatsa. And a curly of white hair.
And
The curl. No, the curl, sorry. A curl
and a curl
of white hair. The brilliant Kaustuba gem is suspended from his neck.
The brilliant
Kaustuba
Kaustuba
gem is suspended from his neck.
is expanded to his neck.
Okay. His loins are covered by a brilliant cloth, yellowish like the filaments of lotus. On his breast, he bears the mark of Srivatsa, a curl of white hair. The brilliant Kaustuba gem is suspended from his neck. Prepared by Srila Prabhupada. The exact color of the garment of the Supreme Lord is described as saffron yellow, just like the pollen of a lotus flower. The Kaustuba gem hanging on his chest is also described. His neck is beautifully decorated with jewels and pearls. The Lord is full in 6 opulences, one which is wealth. He is very richly dressed with valuable jewels which are not visible within this material world. That's the old purport in this verse. Since it is short purport, I'm going to read again. The exact color of the garment of the Supreme Lord is described as saffron yellow, just like the pollen of a lotus flower. The Kaustuba gem hanging on his chest is also described. His neck is beautifully decorated with jewels and pearls. The Lord is full in 6 opulences, one which is wealth. He is very richly dressed with valuable jewels, which are not visible within this material world. So, that's a whole purpose on this verse, is divine grace, Prabhupada. But everything about the Supreme Lord can always be explained in unlimited ways. Supreme Lord is not limited. Like we said, Krishna Tulia Bhagavad, Vibhu Sarvashrai Pratisloke Pratyakyarina Artaka. This Srimad Bhagavatam, Mahapurana, is as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is Vibhu, unlimited Supreme Personality of Godhead. So is Srimad Bhagavatam. It's not easy, almost impossible to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead completely, 100%. We can only understand or realize Him as far as our devotion goes. As far as our devotion goes. And also, as far as His mercy is bestowed upon us. That's only possibility we have to understand the Supreme Person of Godhead. So, Bhagavatam says, This Bhagavata Mahaprana, completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated, this Bhagavad Puran propounds the highest truth, which is understandable by those devotees who are fully pure in the heart, completely free from envy. The highest truth is the reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. Such a truth uproots the threefold miseries. This beautiful Bhagavatam, compiled by the great sage Vyasadeva in his maturity, is sufficient in itself for God realization. What is the need of any other scripture? As soon as one attentively and submissively hears the message of Bhagavatam, by this quality of knowledge, the Supreme Lord is established within his heart. O experts and faithful men, relish Srimad Bhagavatam, the mature fruit of the desired tree of Vedic literatures. It emanated from the lips of Sri Shukadeva Goswami. Therefore, this fruit has become even more tasteful, although its nectarian juice was already relishable for all, including liberated souls. Srimvatam Swakata Krishna Punyashravana Kirtanam Priyantastu Hiyabadrani Vidunoti Surisatam. To hear about Krishna from the Vedic literatures, or to hear from directly through the Bhagavad Gita, it itself righteous activity. For one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as the best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. Nasta praishwa bhavrishu nityam bhagavati seva bhagavati uttama sloke bhakti bhavati nastiti. In this way, the devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and from the devotees, he becomes fixed in devotional service of the Lord. Tadarajastamo bhava kamalo vadaya chay chaitayatera navidam sitam sabbe prasidati. By development of devotional service, one becomes free from the mode of passion and ignorance, and thus material lusts and avarice are diminished. Evam prasanamanasu bhagavad bhakti yogata bhagavad tattva vijnana mukta sangha sajayate. When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness, becomes enlivened by devotional service, and understands the signs of God perfectly. Vijate hridaya bhrantis chiryante sarva samsaya kyanti chasya karmani drusta eva manishvari. Thus, the Bhakti Yoga severs the hard knots of material affection and enables one to come at once to the stage of Asamshaya Samagrama, understanding of the supreme absolute truth, personality of Godhead. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna or his devotee in Krishna consciousness can one understand the signs of Krishna. Aradhyo Bhagavan Brajeshata Dhama Vrindavana Rame Kvachitupasana Vrajavadhu Varjena Jakalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanamam Prema Pumartumaham Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Matamidam Tatra Dharana Para Bandi Ananta Budam Shwaram Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Visojat Prasharam Sad Bhakti Shastra Pravartakaha Nana Shastra Vicharane Kanipuram Sabdhana Samsthapaku Loke Naditakarino Chupane Manyo Sharana Karu Radha Krishna Padara Vindavajana Nandena Matariku Bande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyugu Sri Jiva Gopalaku Bande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyugu Sri Jiva Gopalaku Bande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyugu Sri Jiva Gopalaku. Let's come back to the translation again. His loins are covered by a shining cloth, yellowish like the filaments of a lotus. On his breast He bears the mark of Srivatsa, a curl of white hair. The brilliant Kaustuva gem is suspending from his neck. So, Lord Kapila is Krishna himself. He's Krishna himself, Bhagavan, who is now is teaching and describing about himself. This is the appearance of Lord Vishnu. And something going on here, just like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Swami Bhagavan, Krishna himself, and in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he's teaching Sanatana Goswami. That beginning from Madhya Lila, chapter 20 up to chapter 24, 23. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught Sanatana Goswami extensively about personality of Godhead, his different incarnations, his appearance, his qualities, everything basically. So we have to understand that Supreme Person Godhead is full of opulences. He's Purna Brahma. He's full, complete. Om Purna. So all the descriptions of the Supreme Person Godhead are only subject matter to be heard. We might not understand in the initial stage of devotional service, but like we discussed yesterday, we should hear attentively with faith, because like this said here, Lord said it, Sri Prabhupada says that in the last sentence of his report, he said, Supreme Lord is very richly dressed with valuable jewels which are not visible within this material world. So this is the thing, people, they seek condition and they trust only their sense perception. But it is very often said that a living entity, a conditioned soul, has defective senses. And yet they rely on those defective senses. So how can they perceive something which is beyond the range of the senses? The Supreme Lord is known as Dokyaja, who can never be perceived with material blunt senses. It is often said, even Brahma Sangita Balo Brahma, Priman Jana Churita Bhakti Guru Chanena, Shanta Sadeva Videsu Lokoyanti, Jam Sama Sundaram Achincha Guna Swarupa, Govinda Mahadi Kurusham, Achincha. Whenever we speak about the supreme absolute truth, personality of God, these words should be always there, inconceivable. Achintya. Otherwise, we can turn to speculate, make adjustment with our material brain, material intellect, material logic, trying to imagine about the Supreme Person of Godhead. No. We have to receive the description of the Supreme Person, personality of Godhead, as they've been given in Srimad Bhagavatam. Because Srimad Bhagavatam is the authoritative book, scriptures, revealed scriptures. So basically everything he mentions Srimad Bhagavatam is revelation to us. We don't know those things. When we study the entire Bhagavatam, we're going to see so many things. Sometimes, not sometimes, but many things in Bhagavatam are completely beyond our imagination, beyond our understanding. Different cantos of Bhagavatam describe so many things, how this planet is, different planets, different this. So many things are there, different living entities, different planetary systems. So we have no idea at all about these things. But we must accept the authority, Supreme Person of Godhead. And the Shastras are the words of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For instance, here, in this verse, no one other than Supreme Person God, Supreme Person Godhead himself, is describing Lokapiladev. He's describing the appearance of Lord Vishnu, how he's dressed, how he's been decorated. And we have no information about it. But he himself, Supreme Lord, reveals himself. If you want to know somebody better, let the person disclose everything, describe himself, his feeling, whatever he has. Then there's no question of doubt. If you tell me exactly what you want, what you have in your house, whether you planned everything, I can say, no, I don't believe you. That is unnecessary denial. That's unnecessary because the person himself telling you about himself, just accept it. Of course, unless the person is joking something, but seriously, the Supreme Lord is not there for joking. He's Supreme Person of Godhead. It's absolute truth. Whatever comes from him is absolute truth. So, this is Bhagavatam. We're to hear from Bhagavatam about the Supreme Person of Godhead. And we have to keep on hearing, not only one or twice, no. Because the knowledge given in Bhagavatam is transcendental. It's not material. And we can also, beyond the general understanding, like we said, Gyan, but we need Vijnana too. We need to realize this knowledge. Therefore, Bhakti is needed. That's why other scholars, they can speak on Srimad Bhagavatam, Vedantas, Vedic literatures, very expectedly, very scholarly, but they fail to realize the Supreme Person of Godhead because they have no Bhakti. No Bhakti. When Prabhupada says that all these opulences of the Supreme Person of Godhead are not visible within this material world. So they become visible to those devotees who are self-realized, because they know Krishna. Adhyagena Tattva Brajendra Kumar. Brajendra Kumar, Krishna is the absolute truth. But those who have seen him, they are his own man, his personal associate, and they are all self-realized persons. But we have to hear first, with faith. That's what we were discussing yesterday on Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada quoted Rupa Ishwarupa Goswami from his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Adosh Shadata Tasarusanga Tapachana Kriya. It's a gradual, chronological order how to all the steps of devotional service until we reach the perfection of devotional service, that is to develop Krishna Bhakti, Prema Bhakti. So it is very scientific. Knowledge of the Supreme Personality of God is very scientific. Lord Krishna also tells Lord Brahma that knowledge about me is very scientific. And Prabhupada used this word scientific, Vijnana, realization. Because people believe in science, because the science, they carry out experimentation in laboratories, and then they come up with something. They mix things, they say, okay, here it is. And then people say yes. So knowledge of a Supreme Personality of Godhead is not sentimental, it's not just question of belief. You have to realize it. How to realize it? The process given is to practice devotional service. By practicing devotional service, we become purified. Our senses, our defective senses become purified. And with the purified senses, we can actually realize and perceive the personality of God. Example is there when Dhruva Maharaj, a mere boy, he underwent severe sadhana, and then he met his wonderful spiritual master. Of course, he did everything under his guidance. So the guidance is very important. Take the example of Dhruva Maharaj. He was very determined. He went to the forest under the instruction of his mother. And he went to the forest to meditate. And he started his meditation sadhana. But because he was very sincere, the Supreme Lord, Antaryami, Super Soul, in the heart, he knows. Have said that God helps those who help themselves. So when we're very sincere and we're very determined, to know God and to know Him, to realize Him, because knowledge of God is not like we shouldn't be. We shouldn't be thinking that we realize God the way we realize, the way we see things in the material world. The way we realize things in the material world. No. Knowledge about Supreme Personality of Godhead is transcendental. It's only, it can only be revealed to you. It can only be revealed to you. It's not something that is in front of you that everybody should know. It's, you realize that according to your ability, your eligibility, and the Supreme Lord, He reveals Himself to you. So it's not mundane knowledge. So we have to receive this knowledge as it is, transcendental knowledge. But as men, like Krishna said, again, everything about the Supreme Personality of Godhead is transcendental. It can never be realized with material senses. It can never be perceived with material senses. So the recommendation is only one. Hear from the authorized source. Because all the description of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they descend through Shabda Brahma, the words of dear devotee Krishna. We need just to hear. We have to hear, and we have to do all this process, hearing, chanting, under the expert guidance of a dear devotee Krishna, who is described as Krishna Swarup Shakti Pushta Parikara. Those devotees who are empowered, sadhus, when they speak about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the words are not mundane words. The sound from their mouth is not ordinary sound. Krishna Pushta, Swarup Shakti Pushta. mean they are invested with the power of internal potency of the Supreme. Pushpa, huh? So Pushpa Shakti. They're empowered, invested with the power of internal potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, when they speak, it's not empty words, it's not mundane words. So if we're very faithful and we surrender ourselves to such devotees, such representative of the Supreme Lord, continually, the Bhagavatam said this has to go on, no one time. We're to go on listening, hearing faithfully from the authorized preachers, devotees of the Lord. We have a very nice reference about this. You know Rukmini, who's the head of Krishna's queens, Rukmini, the first queen of Krishna, very much celebrated. Rukmini was the princess of was kingdom of was king. Vidarbha? I can remember that kingdom again. So we know the stories there in Krishna book. And within the palace, the royal palace, there were very qualified brahmanas, devotees of the Lord. And they were having their meetings, like we have in class. And they were describing, with devotion, describing the Supreme Person of Godhead with devotion. And then Rukmini was a little girl, the princess, passing by. Of course, she was already aged marriage. In the Vedic system, the girl, the princess, they married quite young. She was mature enough, to know what was going on there. So she happened to hear the discussion of those sages, devotees, describing the quality of Krishna. Like Lord Blessed is saying here, how Krishna looks, like this. And she became so attracted by the discussion, by the topic about Krishna. She actually became attracted by the personality of Krishna, but she hasn't seen Krishna before. So this is the effect of hearing from the wise source. The effect of hearing from associate of the Supreme Person of Godhead. They are known as Krishna Kripa Srimurti. They are divine embodiment, divine manifestation of Krishna's mercy. The sadhus. That's what we call His divine grace. The mercy of the Supreme Person of Godhead manifests to us as sadhu. That's what Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. He Rupe Brahmana Praniti Kon Bhagavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasad Pai Bhakti Life. There's no spiritual life at all until we meet a sadhu who is considered to be Krishna, embodiment of Krishna's mercy. That's what Mahaprabhu himself says. Erupe Brahmana Brahmati Kon Bhagavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasad. Guru is mercy of Krishna. Prasad. Guru is Krishna Prasad. Mercy of Krishna. That's where the spiritual life begins. Of course, you cannot sit tight and then wait for that moment to come. No, we have to first hear from Shastra, we have to perform some good devotional or spiritual activities. Like in the system we have in ISKCON, when we first come, when we show some interest in ISKCON, the first thing we have to do, we go to temple. If you were serious to really become devotee or to revive our devotional service, then the process, like Rupa Goswami says, Ado Shraddha, with that inspiration, with that faith, you must associate the devotees. By associating the devotees, you can actually become more and more knowledgeable about Krishna, knowledgeable about devotional service, and your faith, because Shraddha is the most important thing. So your faith becomes stronger, stronger, and stronger. And Jiva Goswami also says, Shastri Shraddha. Because in association devotee, you hear the Shastra, you hear from the Shastra everything about the absolute truth, everything about the personality of Godhead, everything about his devotional service, and it's revealed scriptures. And Jiva Goswami has given the definition of Shastra or Vedas. Anadisiddha, Sava Purusha Paramparashu, Sava Lokika Lokika Dhyanatam, Aprakrita Vachana Chaveda. What is Vedas? What is translated to knowledge of Vedas? Is Anadisiddha, eternally perfect. Vedic knowledge, eternally perfect, especially Srimad Bhagavatam. Amala Purana, Mahaprabhu gives us evidence as we decided that verse. And this knowledge, Sava Purusha Paramparashu, this knowledge is received through the Purusha Parampara. Sava Purusha Parampara means where we hear from perfect, self-realized personalities devoted to the Lord. Sava Purusha Parampara. Ashu means to hear. That's another name of Shastra called Shruti. Shruti means hearing. And one of the best praman, best evidence, out of 4 evidences, Pratyaksha, Hanuman, Haitya, and Shruti. So Shruti, the 4th one. So Pratyaksha means direct sense perception. But as our senses are defective, we can never ascertain the truth. But unfortunately, conditioned souls, the one with the direct sense perception is eyes, sight. And he said, seeing is believing. Seeing is believing. Okay, you see, you believe. Suppose you're sitting in a very fast-moving vehicle, train. Train is going countryside, running fast. You're sitting. When you look at the window, looking for that for a few seconds, you see that all the trees, the forest, or the bush, the trees are running fast backwards. You look, it's running. But are they really running? No. And you think the trees are running, I'm sitting still. No. You're the one who's moving, not the trees. But for the child, okay, for an adult, he knows this, but a child will believe. Oh, Dad, see, the trees are moving. But they're not moving. So many evidences are there that our senses are not perfect. So that's called pratyaksha. So direct sense perception cannot well establish the truth. And then Hanuman. Hanuman means speculation, imagination. Sometimes people say, oh, there's no fire without smoke. But when you go and you see the mountains, hills, on the top of the hill, you see that it's like smoke is there. And then, is there fire? No. And this part of the direct sense perception. But Hanuman means speculation. Yeah, this is speculation that with no fire, there's no smoke without fire. It's an example of Hanuman. People said also everybody is to die. Prabhupada says everybody to die. But it's not true, because if you want to see that everybody's to die, then you have to wait until everybody dies, until you come to the end to see that everybody's going to die. You won't be able to do it because you say you're going to die. But there's a Supreme Personality of Godhead, the soul never dies that way. So all this is like Hanuman. And high tier is historical statements, no? We see that many places in the school, the college, they say this history, they say this part of Uganda, for instance, used to be this, that, one tribe used to be there, this and that, how many years ago, maybe some 1,000 years ago, or 2,000 years ago. And then another historian will come and say, no, they will dislodge. See, they contradict themselves. So we can't rely on the historical evidences. So those three, they cannot establish the pramans, perfect evidences. But however, it is said, if their evidences collaborate with the Shastra, then that's true. For instance, seeing is believing. Okay, we might not, I gave some examples not to believe, because seeing believing is not perfect, but it can be perfect if it corroborates with the Shastra. For instance, you come to the temple, you see the deities of Krishna, and you hear the deity of Jagannath, you say, that's Supreme Personality of Godhead. I'm seeing him directly. That is correct. That is correct. So when these three, Pratyaksha, Hanuman, and Aitya, they corroborate with Shastra, because Shastra says, yes, Krishna is not different from his deity form, Archavigraha. Then, that's correct. But then the fourth one is Sruti. Sruti means to hear from the revealed scriptures, to hear from authorized, bona fide sources. This one is the most important. This one is the most important. That's why it's very difficult to understand the descriptions of Supreme Person of Godhead, especially when we are conditioned souls. Just like Prabhupada said that it's not visible within this material world, because it's a world of conditioned souls. How can they perceive that? But if we hear faithfully, then we become purified, and then we engage in devotional service to the Supreme Person of Godhead, and then everything will be revealed to you. It's just a question of revelation. It's not that you need to see it the way you see those buildings, the way you see things in front of you. No, from within. The soul is there. Supreme Lord is there in your heart. If he reveals himself, you can see him. What to speak about devotees? After the devotee, they see the Supreme Lord face to face. But even the yogi, they see the Supreme Lord in the heart. As a Paramatma, Vishnu. So, this is the most important thing. Shastra can only be received through hearing. Then we put faith in that, then we can ultimately receive the mercy of the Supreme Person of Godhead. By hearing, we become purified, and then we can believe, we can see actually, we can visualize the Supreme Person of Godhead. And I will give you an example of Dhruva Maharaj. When he underwent sadhana under the guidance of one of our spiritual master, such Narada Muni himself, the leader of the sadhus, the best of all sadhus, we call devotion, So, what happened to Guru Maharaj? The Lord came in front of him. He saw the Lord. All the descriptions that were given by his spiritual master, Narada Muni, when Guru Maharaj succeeded in his meditation within 6 months, the Supreme Lord appeared in front of him with everything Narada Muni was saying. At the time Narada Muni was telling him, he couldn't visualize that, but he heard that faithfully from his spiritual master, Narada Muni. He heard that faithfully. Yes, my Guru Maharaj describing, the Supreme Person of Godhead. And he followed the instructions of the spiritual master, performed sadhana, then what happened? He also visualized the Supreme Person of Godhead. We know this story, very funny story of Guru Maharaj. This is the process. So we shouldn't think of these descriptions of the Supreme Lord as mundane or imaginary. No, they're true. They're part of the absolute truth. But we need just to follow the process to realize it one day. So, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, very kind. He described very extensively about Supreme Person of God in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Really, that never anywhere else. The word Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu described Krishna while teaching to Sanatana Goswami. It's very nice. If you keep reading this over and over, read that chapter again and again. There are about 3 chapters. So at Madhya Lila, Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya, from chapter 20, that it gives you not general teaching, but then I think chapter 21, 22, 23, then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will start describing his personal Godhead, different manifestation, different forms of Vishnu, everything is there. So if you read this faithfully, while we performing devotional service, and they will come, we also believe, and the Supreme Lord will be revealed to us. And mostly, and most important, to chant Hare Krishna, hearing chanting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. This chanting, what he said, what Thakur said in Harinam Chintamani, Hare Matra Vaishnava Dharma, Hare Matra Vaishnava Dharma, Nama Prostita Hoy Rupa Guna Karma. Nama Prostita Hoy Guna Rupa Karma. If you take this chanting the holy name as only Dharma, Vaishnava Dharma, this is Vaishnava Dharma, just to chant Hare Krishna, following all the rules and regulations associated with what you do, Nam Sankirtan. You follow this. What happened? Nama Prashita Hoy Rupa Guna Karma. When you chant your name, you endeavor to chant holy name sincerely, they will come and say, you understand that Krishna is different from his name, Nama Rupa, no different from his form. Nama Rupa Guna, his attributes, qualities, and also his pastimes, karma, activities of Supreme Lord. They are all within holy name, if you change the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This is a one method for supreme perfect, to achieve supreme perfection. That's Mahaprabhu is giving us. Thank you so much. Granth Rashman Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada Maharaj ki jai. Shambhavi Bhakta Vinay ki jai. Guru Praman. Hari Hari Hari.